Hello everyone, I'm Dr. John Gurban, PhD in Mechanical Engineering. In this video, we're examining some scientific statistics. The outcomes of present video can save us from financial disasters. I hope you like this video. Okay. The fascinating statistics we're going to examine together today are based on the work of Dublin Business School. Through this statistical analysis, we aim to highlight the strengths and weaknesses of investors. I hope the outcome of this short video helps your mastery of the art of investing. Okay. First question in this video. What information source do you avail to make decisions on investments in the stock market? In this image, as you can see, the majority of investors have chosen three sources: broker advice, internet, and investor associate advisor. The golden rule I want to teach you as a university professor is that all these sources can be either good or bad. As a professional investor, your first step is to gain the necessary foundational knowledge yourself. Only when your knowledge reaches an acceptable level, you proceed to evaluate the information provided by each of the sources shown in this image. If you want to be a professional investor, you shouldn't switch off your mind and listen only to one of these sources. Okay? Second question. At what rate do you want your investments to grow? People tend to be impatient. However, patience is a key factor to consider in professional investing. You should not seek quick profits. Growing your capital takes time. Remember, impatient individuals in the capital markets often suffer heavy losses. Experience has shown that by combining patience with knowledge, you can achieve your investment goals. I previously posted an excellent video on the channel showing exactly how you can achieve your goal through smart investing and patience. You can see the video's thumbnail here. Okay. Third question. Frequently do you monitor your investments? A very common mistake among investors is constantly checking their holdings and becoming stressed by every fluctuation in value. Under this pressure, they make hasty decisions, selling a valuable asset in the heat of the moment, or buying a worthless one driven by market hype. Try to break the habit of constantly checking your assets. Remember, the time you spend checking your holdings should instead be dedicated to gain knowledge. Ask yourself, what benefit did you actually gain from checking your assets every single day over the past years? Please pay attention. Okay? Question? Do you look out for most when purchasing a share? Here are 5 factors I would like to examine. The first factor, low dividends. It is entirely incorrect to purchase a business simply because it pays out low dividends. You might be reasoning that a business paying low dividends is reinvesting its earning into expansion projects, thereby driving growth. While your underlying logic is sound, the conclusion you draw from it is flawed. There is no guarantee that a business paying out less in dividends will necessarily expand or progress more effectively. Ultimately, neither high nor low dividend payouts should serve as the deciding factor in your decision to buy shares. The second factor, as you can see in this figure, low share price. This factor is not merely incorrect, it is 1,000,000% wrong. You can pick up a stone from the street for free, yet you would have to pay thousands of dollars for a piece of gold. Does the fact that a stone is cheaper than gold mean you should buy stones instead of gold? Certainly not. You must look at the fundamentals of business. Whether the share price is high or low is absolutely irrelevant. What truly matters is whether the price you pay aligns with the fundamental and economic realities of business. I have personally made excellent profits from a stock that might have had very high price, yet it was worth it because the underlying business was incredibly valuable. The third factor, as you can see in this image, expectation of share price increase. This could be either correct or completely wrong. It depends on the basis of your expectation for a rise in the stock price. If you are relying on the opinions of friends, the media, or the internet, you are on the wrong track. However, if your assessment is based on the company's financial health and its bright future, then yes, your expectation of a price increase is logical. Here's a simple rule. Under any conditions, focus solely on the company's economic and financial situation and disregard all other factors. The first factor, as you can see in this figure, is the a company future business plans. On the surface, this appears to be a very interesting point that attracts significant investor attention. However, one should not be misled by appearances. While the company's future plans are certainly important, it is a mistake to make them the sole factor for purchasing a stock. Many of these plans, remember, many of these plans are merely wishful thinking and never materialize in reality. Companies sometimes announce highly ambitious plans intended solely to mislead the public and investors that are never actually implemented. Same things can be seen in cryptocurrency market too. Okay, another point about this factor, another point is to consider is that these plans are sometimes entirely right, entirely good if implemented. They could significantly boost the stock market price. The problem, however, is that due to financial constraints or other issues, they often fail to materialize within the scheduled time frame. I once held shares in a company with an excellent expansion plan, but unfortunately, its implementation had major delays, and to this day, the plan has still not been carried out. So, a company's expansion plan should be a component of its financial assessment. For example, by assigning it a 15% weighting in your analysis. Okay, the fifth factor, as you can see in the image, reputation of the company. This also is generally a flawed factor. As you can see in the image, I have previously posted a video on the channel about Nokia and the reasons behind its rise and fall. Nokia was certainly once a titan of the mobile industry and commanded great prestige. Yet, it ultimately collapsed. So, simply having a strong reputation and a long history is not sufficient grounds for buying a company's stock. Rather, the company's current and future financial health are the deciding factors. You should consider the current and future financial of the company, not the reputation. Pay attention, if two companies are on equal financial footing, the one with greater market prestige can be chosen and you can buy the stock of it. Okay, I have included the continuation of this interesting research along with important findings that can greatly aid your investment decisions in the second video. I hope you take the time to think and review the key points I covered today so you can apply apply them to your investments. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.